Hello my friends, this is Matt and this is a video for my fellow empaths. Being an empath can be very difficult if you don't have the tools to use this gift and to mitigate all the crazy energy that you're being bombarded with all the time. As an empath, you pick up the energy of all of the other people around you, usually emotions. It's usually emotions. And this is why a lot of times you can find yourself in a situation where you're feeling a certain vibe, you're feeling a certain emotion. Sometimes it can be a very strong emotion, and you don't know why, and you don't know where it has come from. Well, one of the worst things that you can do is to start immediately analyzing and over-analyzing the situation and go, why am I feeling so negative? Why am I feeling so bad? What's going on? My previous programming, the life that I was brought up to live, the mentality that I've had my whole life, coupled with this empathic ability, sort of put me in a place where anytime that I was feeling triggered, I would immediately turn the focus inward. A lot of us empaths tend to be introverts. We tend to spend a lot of time in this inner world. Well, what I would always do is go, what have I done wrong? What's my problem? What can I do to change really quickly so that I can fix this issue? Like if there's somebody who's upset, it's like, how can I apologize? How can I do something to make them not upset anymore? And sometimes we choose really unhealthy things, ways to go about this to fix the situation, because it makes us feel good when others feel good. But it also makes us feel bad when there's a bunch of chaotic energy going on around us. So I'm going to give you some tools today to, first of all, know the difference between your energy and someone else's. And second of all, to transmute that energy once you have picked it up. Because inevitably, there's just going to be times when you pick up negative energy and you're carrying it around. So, number one, don't analyze it. Don't go, what have I done wrong? This is my fault, right? Please listen to this. This is something that my spirit guides have told me on more than one occasion. For an empath, it is not native to us. It is not our default state to have negative vibrations and negative emotions and stuff like fear, guilt, shame, anxiety, blah, blah, blah. We are energetic sponges. Our natural state is happiness and lightness and a general feeling of ease and grace. If we're feeling anything other than that, it is because we have picked up on something that has either been projected onto us by someone, or we've just picked it up environmentally by being in their proximity. Regardless of how you picked up the energy, you've picked up some negative energy and now you need to transmute it. And we'll talk about ways that you can do that. But before we get into that, we need to talk about how can you keep from picking up this negative energy in the first place? Well, you can't. You're an empath and you're going to pick up energy. There's just different ways that you can mitigate that. The most important thing is that you have a reliable way to know the difference between your vibe and someone else's vibe that you encounter. If you know the way that you feel in body, mind, spirit, you can then measure the contrast between you and the other person, and you can know whether this is an energy that you want around or that you want to have come into your auric field or not. And this will also save you from going into that crazy tailspin of, oh boy, I've picked up some negative energy and now I don't know what caused it. Have I caused it? Maybe I caused it. What can I do to change? What can I do? And you go into this analysis paralysis. The next thing you know, you're in a negative vibe. It used to happen to me all the time before I learned to do these certain things. Begin every morning before you do anything else of your day with a short meditation. I'm planning to produce a guided meditation that is based on what I do every day. But for now, I'm just going to describe it to you. Basically, this is what I call calibrating the machine, and that is you sit and meditate, follow the breath, get your mind focused on the current space-time that you're experiencing, the present moment, which is the only moment that exists, not thinking about yesterday, not thinking about tomorrow, not thinking about what you're going to have for dinner, just current. How do you feel in your body and your mind? And just sit there and just feel the awareness of you. Become aware of you and your feelings and anything that you can observe about you in that space-time. The next part of it is to call all parts of you that are scattered throughout the universe into this current space-time. What do I mean by that? Have you ever noticed how, like, if you had a long work day and you've had to be around a lot of other people, or you've had a long day of like running errands and shopping and do whatever, when you come back home, sometimes you can feel a little bit scattered, and that's because there are certain energetic deposits that you have placed throughout all of those places that you've been. There's little pieces of you that get left behind. There are thoughts and actions and connections that have been made in different places. And it can take you a little while to bring yourself all back home and not feel so scattered. Well, basically, that's what we're doing energetically when we first wake up. It's what we need to do, because while we're sleeping and we're dreaming, we're actually astrally projecting. We're projecting our consciousness into other dimensions. The consciousness is still awake. It's not just lying dormant while the body is asleep. We're doing other work in other dimensions. And sometimes you can have the feeling of having had a really strong, intense experience, but you don't remember what it is when you wake up. Sometimes it doesn't behoove you to remember what has happened while you were asleep. Doesn't really matter. The fact is that you have strong energy that's out there somewhere, and you need to bring it back here to this space-time. So I go into meditation and I feel the way that I feel in body and mind, and then I call all parts of me to this space-time nexus. And I reach a point in my meditation where this awareness of what I feel like increases enough. And it really helps if you have the ability to see auras. Like if you're able to, if you've spent enough time meditating that you can feel and see in your mind's eye what your auric field looks like, because then you're able to actually like close your eyes and sort of see it out there. And it's abstract, it's different for everybody, it's a thought form. But the idea is to shrink that thing down and be all right here. Basically, shrink your aura, shrink your chakras. Imagine all of your chakra points, all of your energy centers being just slowly compacted into a narrow band right here. Usually what happens is like I become more and more aware of this as I do my little quick meditation to calibrate. And then I just, as I exhale, I breathe it all in. I breathe all of that in. I just sort of imagine all of that energy coming up from my red ray root chakra all the way up. I just imagine all the parts of me being collected right here in this area, not scattered out there all over the place. And usually if you do this right, you actually feel this influx of big energy coming into you. That's all you. And it's really kind of important that you have all of your faculties in this space-time. Now that you're here in this space-time and you know what you feel like, you can go throughout your day, and when you encounter some other energy, you instantly know the difference between that energy and yours because you've spent enough time with the awareness of your own energy, okay? That's pretty simple, right? Well, what you can also further do, if you feel guided to, or if you feel the need to, is to place yourself, again, while you're in meditation, to place yourself in a protective Merkaba, or a protective egg, or an armor of light, however you perceive it, The idea is that you envision yourself being protected by this structure, either like an egg of light, an armor of light, or like a Merkaba. And there's nothing that can penetrate this. And if you believe it to be so, then it is so. Nothing can penetrate this egg of light that surrounds you, and you can go through your day with confidence, knowing that you are well contained and well protected. But that's no excuse to turn off your discernment and just be silly with your energy. You're an empath, and you do have to be responsible and careful. Otherwise, you'll find yourself in a whole heap of trouble. It's happened to me my whole life, but I didn't know these things before. Okay, so what happens if I didn't do these things, or even if I did and I encounter a very intense situation somewhere and it triggers me or it drags me into a low vibration and I'm feeling all kinds of negative stuff like guilt and shame and fear and anxiety and worry and doubt and blah, blah, blah. Now that I'm holding all those low vibrations and I don't want them, what do I do to get rid of them? Well, there's really only two ways that I know of. And basically, any other way that I know to get rid of negative energy is just a distortion of one of these two ways. It's just basically, I'm not saying that there are no other effective ways. I'm just saying that pretty much any way to get rid of negative energy uses one of these two routes. Okay, this is going to be a very quick little primer on densities and on the energy centers of the body. Okay, if you take white light and you separate it into its constituent colors using a prism, you end up with the rainbow of colors. You got Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And those correspond to the 7 densities of experience. The first density being like all of your rocks, dirt, the earth, crystals, all sorts of natural things. Second density being animals, a lot of plants like trees. Third density, of course, being what we experience. We are third density entities as human beings. And fourth density is where we are headed to. This is the new earth. This is the upward spiraling energy of the earth as it moves into this new density of experience. And each one of these densities, and of course there are higher densities, and each one of these densities corresponds to one of these rays or colors of light. So first density is red ray, and red ray corresponds to your root chakra. And what you can do using red ray to transmute negative energy is to simply take your shoes and socks off and go outside and stand in the dirt. And if you believe this to be so, it will work for you. The earth, through red ray, will take all of the negative energies that you are experiencing and transmute them. They will be dissipated through the entire experience, and they will go to the places that they belong. Because you got to understand that just because it's a negative thing for you, it could be a blessing for someone else. It's all a matter of perspective. It's all a matter of what energy is required right now. As we go through this third density experience we call life on Earth, there are lights and shadows. There's a transitory nature of this energy that we will find ourselves needing certain energies at times. We will find ourselves experiencing the illusion of lack or the illusion of surplus. It's all about seeking balance, and transmutation is one of the ways of achieving balance by removing energies from your system that do not belong there. But in order to do that, listen, you have to know what it is. You have to sit with it long enough. You don't have to know where it came from, like I explained. You don't have to sit trying to suss out whose energy it is or what caused it or what triggered it. But you do have to identify what it is. So I like to sit, if I'm feeling a negative vibe, I like to sit with it long enough to where I can go, why am I feeling shame? Like, I just sit and I just let my intuition tell me, like, what is the vibe that I'm feeling? Why am I feeling guilt? Why am I feeling anxiety? I'm not going to worry about why. I'm just going to simply transmute that negative energy. So I'm going to go outside and I'm going to stand on the ground and I'm going to give to the earth by whatever means. What, it doesn't really matter. It's however you believe it and perceive it. It will work, I promise. And just give it to the earth. Just offer those negative energies that you experience as negative to the earth and just let them go. Let them go. With ease and grace. That's it. Don't resist it. Don't reject it. Let it go. Okay, the other way is through violet ray. And this is by igniting the violet flame. So what I do is I just go into meditation and I just simply say, Divine Father, Mother, Creator of all, I'm asking you to ignite the violet flame in front of me. And I just sit there and I imagine like a big pyre flaming in front of me. And it's violet, there's a violet energy that's coming off of it. This corresponds to the violet ray, which is the totality of your beingness. And this is, of course, corresponding to the crown chakra. Like, this goes on up and out. This is your connection to infinity, to intelligent infinity. So you either do this through the earth, through the first ray, through red ray, through the root chakra, or you do this through violet ray. And you allow the universal energies to dissipate all of these negative things by placing them in your mind's eye while you're meditating, placing them on the violet flame. I imagine myself physically as if they were objects, placing the thought forms of fear, guilt, shame, whatever it is, whatever I'm experiencing, whatever it is. Name it and put it on the fire and let it burn, and just know that it is, and just feel it going away from you. Feel it dissipating from your experience, and it's gone. It's gone. That's it. It's gone. None of these things have to take a long time, and none of these things have to be a big expenditure of energy. These are tools that you can learn to use that will really help you out a lot. As the frequency increases on this planet, as we move closer and closer to fourth density, as we move closer and closer to the end of this major galactic cycle that we're wrapping up now, you're going to experience more and more energy. Your empathic abilities are going to expand, which means you're going to be more and more sensitive. And if you don't do some of these things, if you don't have a handle on what to do with these energies that you pick up and what to do to keep from picking up so much energy, you're going to have a bad time. It's going to become really important to do these things more and more and more. So I hope these things have helped, and if any of this doesn't make sense, please leave me a comment or something. I would love to know ways that I could improve, because I have a lot of things that I can share and explain. I just don't always know where my audience is at as far as in their spiritual journey. Anyway, I hope this has helped, and I thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.